Good morning and welcome to a very special Friday edition of Join the Dots. I think an awful lot of people are confused, in the West, are very, very confused by what is happening to them, their society, their friends, their relationships, their family relationships. Everything is confusing, and I think I've found the answer. Okay, I think I found the answer in one 6-minute video, which I will link to this presentation. It's called The Matrix. And most people are now living in the Matrix. There are a number of us, I think I said 1 in 10,000 the other day, that are outside the Matrix, that have seen it for what it is, that understand what it is. But I think this explanation over 6 minutes and this presentation, I'll break it down so that you can listen to it later, but follow my thoughts on this, because this is an explanation of why the West is in such a dark, dark place. And most people don't even realise it. It all goes to our central theme, anyway, of gold and silver, safety. You have to find safety when forces are railed against you that you don't even see, feel, most people understand. Let's go through it. Okay. So this is called the Inversion Matrix. Ironic, isn't it? We've got an Exter's inverted pyramid for assets and investment, and now we've got an inverted matrix, the Inversion Matrix. Just listen to every word I say, please, and place yourself in the part of understanding what I'm saying compared to what you're seeing and experiencing and feeling around you. Okay? Just try that. You need to try it. Yes, I've got my shirt on again because this is linked. This is joining the dots. This shirt is an expression of freedom. Freedom of speech and not being caught in a matrix. Here we go. So in this matrix, part 1, the native becomes the intruder. You can see that, surely. The majority become the villains. The truth becomes hate speech. You can see it, you can feel it. Listen to those again. The native becomes the intruder. The majority become the villains, and the truth becomes hate speech. Those who are from the country find themselves apologising for existing. Yes. Those who live in England or America or a lot of Europe are apologising almost for existing. They are intruders in their own country. Why? Part 2. And I've said this so much throughout COVID, throughout everything we've experienced in the last 30, 40 years, even ESG, even climate change, even the ozone layer, even climate boiling, climate cooling. Lies. What is it in total? Try and put a package around that. What is it? It's psychological engineering. And it's done on a massive scale. It is psyops, psychological operations, on a massive scale. We have constant reminders of colonialisation, slavery, privilege and oppression. They flood the language with weaponized labels. And I've talked about labels before, haven't I? I've said, mind the labels because they capture your thoughts. What are the labels we're given today? Racist, transphobe, far right, Islamophobe, anti-vaxxer. Yes, it was an incredible opportunity for them to reinforce the matrix. Okay, So each of those insults is designed to shut down conversation. Shut it down. What have I said before about corporate fascism? What have I said about fascism? No other opinion allowed. 1984, fascism, call it what you want, it's a fact. Those words, racist, transphobe, far right, Islamophobe, anti-vax, they're all ways of shutting down your speech, your free speech, your ability to describe what you see in your way, not in their way, which is pure narrative. So, all of this is designed to train you to self-censor. In other words, you don't say things you want to say. You don't say things you feel. You self-censor. You're not sure who you're going to offend, so you don't say it. It's easier. You submit to the matrix. It's all about control through confusion. Can you see that? Can you see how people are confused? People are absolutely confused. They don't know what they can say, what they can't say. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. They don't know what the policeman's going to do. Is he going to arrest them? They don't know. They're totally confused. Certain groups can gather publicly in name of religion, sexual orientation, in fact in name of anything. Think of Gaza. You can have Palestinian, you can have people waving the Palestinian flag on the streets everywhere across the West. But you can't have the Union Jack. You can't fly your own country's flag. You are an intruder in your own country. And the matrix has grabbed all those who walk around with Palestinian flags, who aren't naturally Muslim. Okay, they're not. But they're waving Palestinian flags. They're captured by the matrix. The others, who don't accord with the narrative, are fined, silenced or arrested, even for praying silently. Even for praying silently. They're arrested by those in the matrix, the judiciary, the police, the government. They're all part of the matrix. Crimes by one group are explained away, justified by trauma, misunderstanding of cultural norms. What did we just see in America? And I will link this. It's an incredibly powerful video of this young Ukrainian refugee who's run away from the Ukraine fearing for her life, has gone to America for a new life, and is stabbed in the throat while sitting on the metro. And do you know what the media are doing with that story? Nothing. Nothing. Now, if she'd been a Ukrainian and had been bombed by a Russian bomb in Ukraine, outrage everywhere. If she'd been a Ukrainian on the train and stabbed by a white person who could be labelled far right, outrage everywhere. But no, she's stabbed in the neck by a career criminal with so many prosecutions against his name. But he's black, so they can't say anything. The matrix closes in. The same crime by a native, instant outrage. Think of George Floyd. A policeman nominally doing his duty, trying to stop a man much more powerful, much bigger than him, career criminal. He goes to jail. Outrage everywhere. America burns. BLM. America burns. The matrix. The whole country was almost engulfed in the matrix. Media response to Paul Pelosi, and they're actually doing this. They're actually comparing the Paul Pelosi incident with this beautiful, poor Ukrainian refugee stabbed in the throat by a career criminal. They're comparing it to Paul Pelosi and saying, well, you didn't get outraged about that. Paul Pelosi was found in his underpants with a homeless guy in his house, and the first accusations were far right, far right, far right. I remember it well. It turned out he wasn't far right. He was a homeless man, and presumably something was going on between him and Paul Pelosi, who was standing in his underpants. The outrage is false. The matrix tightens. So we've moved from equal rights under the law to engineered imbalance, deliberate engineered imbalance. Justice for all became justice selectively applied. Now remember, here's another incident which you all know about, Lucy Connolly and Ricky Jones. So Lucy Connolly reacts very, very angrily and just as a human being almost to an incident that totally defies everything she's ever believed in. And she puts a tweet up, and 3 hours later she takes it down. She goes to jail for 21 months. Ricky Jones is a counsellor in a responsible position and screams for the slitting of throats of those who don't fit in the matrix. He gets let off. So he calls for the slitting of throats of everyone who opposes their position. Lucy Connolly put out a tweet out of sheer anger and frustration, which she took down and apologised. Institutional capture is section 4 of the matrix. Every institution in the West has now been infiltrated and taken over by an ideological virus. Yes, that's the pandemic. That's the only pandemic out there. Schools no longer teach pride and culture, but they lecture in guilt. Police investigate and arrest for what? For felonies? Nope. For feelings. Feelings have replaced felonies as a crime in my country, in the UK. Feelings are a crime. Felonies, no. No. And the media filters all of this through an ideological lens. Think of that beautiful young Ukrainian refugee having escaped Ukraine, and she's stabbed in the neck on a train in America. Unbelievable. No outrage. Page 17 of a paper, not front page. Facts become problematic. People don't want to deal with facts. They want to deal only with narrative. I've told you before, no other opinion allowed. You have to shut down everyone's opinion who differs from the narrative. What did we see through COVID? What did we see through the vaccines? I still have people that I knew for 45, 50 years who won't talk to me because I understood what was happening, and they didn't. They're in the matrix. They're lost in the matrix. So it's very difficult. Even the churches now, even churches also bow to slogans, not scripture. They're caught in the matrix. Institutional capture. Every institution is caught in the matrix. Every institution. It's not accidental. This is a psychological operations of massive construct, working against the people who think or who haven't been captured by this ideological war that's been waged against the native populations of Western countries. The long game: divide, demoralize, replace. That is the aim. And you can see it everywhere around you, can't you? Divide, demoralize, replace. You can see it in every discussion. Well, there's no discussions now because people won't discuss things. They're afraid. They're afraid to discuss things. They need tradition shattered, and that's what they're achieving. They're shattering all traditions. Drown any tradition in imported ideologies and redefine the language. What people can say, what people can't say, what people can feel, what people can't feel, what people can express, what they can't express. Turn its peoples against themselves. Yes, We're seeing it everywhere. And this Saturday, when people come out with the flag and try and say, we're British and proud, what will they do? There will be counter-protests. There will be people supported by NGOs, left-wing NGOs, Fabian Society, all sorts of societies will combine to rally their forces in opposition to a peaceful protest. And they will try and create an unpeaceful protest. You watch. You watch. They will try very hard to provoke violence, such that the normal, traditional, culturally British person will be accused again of everything that the Matrix throws at them. These are easy to see in both the US and the UK. There's no justice, there's no harmony, a population too confused to resist and too fragmented to unite. This is why Saturday is so important. We need to unite. The people need to come out and show the colours. It's not right wing, it's tradition. It's our culture, it's our right. This may be the last chance to unite in a vocal and a displayed resistance. So, there's a lot in this, and I understand that. It's the longest video I've made. And I'm describing a 6-minute video. The 6-minute video I've linked to you. If we don't do something, we will lose family, we will lose identity, we will lose faith, and we will lose love. Because we will all be totally divided and confused. It all becomes liquid and meaningless. There's no substance to it. So if you're still with me and you're still listening and you're understanding this, then you're not in the Matrix. Okay? Now, again, bring it back to wealth. If we're going to survive this Matrix, there's going to be chaos before we get to the other side. And that chaos says we have to prepare and we have to protect ourselves financially as well as other ways. And that means we have to look at gold and silver and crypto, because those are the ways we can protect ourselves and our families and our futures in a world of organised, created confusion and division. Thank you very much, and enjoy Saturday's march, because I am sure anyone who's watched this to the end and lives in the UK will now wish to be part of that occasion. Thank you very much.